I don't usually make videos regarding faith or faith-based apologetics. However, I thought it might be beneficial for some people to have this as an audio video recording rather than having to read it. So, first of all, I want to tell you about this amazing discovery that they had recently. They some astronomers were looking out at some of these planets with the Hubble telescope, and they were able to get some imaging on this one that they were really interested in. And they found that on this planet there's actually this whole city. It's comparable to any city in America or in this world. It's actually got skyscrapers and vehicles and nice things like that. And the scientists, though, have decided that it must have been formed through a series of natural events such as volcanic eruptions and perhaps hurricanes and earthquakes, and probably also water causing some erosion, and probably during the formation of this planet, it must have just it's incredible that it happened, but it must have been through a series of random events to make this, because we know that there's not any other intelligent life out there that could form something so complex as a city. Now, you obviously don't believe anything that I just said, because it's ridiculous, right? I mean, first of all, there isn't a planet out there that we know of that has a city in it, and secondly, it would be just stupid to assume that something as complex as a city could be formed through random events. You didn't believe what I said, and even if it was found that they did discover on another planet that there was a city, you wouldn't believe that it was formed through random events. You would assume the work of a intelligent design of a creator in this. And there's a reason for that, because it's just so improbable. It's incredibly improbable for you to assume that a whole city, something that complex, could be formed through random events. That's laughable. Now, if you didn't believe that, then how could you mock or not believe the idea that something much, much, much more complex, trillions of times more complex than a city, could be formed by a creator? I'm talking about hundreds of millions of different life forms different species, and hundreds of billions, maybe trillions, I don't know, of life forms on Earth. Here we have something much more complex than a city, much more complex than anything that we could possibly create. And yet, so many of us are willing to assume that it's more, or I guess to theorize that it's more probable that this highly complex structure, or this, I guess, billions of complex structures, were organized by random chance events, and not by the artistry and intelligent design of a more intelligent creator. If you wouldn't believe that a city formed on another planet was through random chance events, then how can you believe that life on earth could not be from a creator, or that it's more probable, much more probable, that life on earth came from a creator through intelligent design, when life on earth is much more complex than any city could ever be? It's something to think about. Now, I'm not trying to assume or say that I know everything, or that all atheists are not intelligent. I myself, I've looked at these different theories a lot, and I think there can be a lot of logic to them. But when just considering probability alone and imagining how silly it would be to assume life on another, not life, but a structure on another planet to be from random events. Let's say there was a bunch of statues, like statues of David, on another planet. Would we assume that they came from another intelligent life form, or would we assume that they came from random events? Same thing with our planet. So it is not silly or stupid or ridiculous to assume that it's more probable that life on Earth came by way of a more intelligent, a more advanced creator when you think about it in those terms. Anyways, I hope this was helpful to you. I don't believe in putting down other people's beliefs. I know there are a lot of people that make fun of atheists, or a lot of believers that make fun of atheists, and there are a lot of atheists that make fun of believers, and I don't believe that is productive or that it gets anywhere. But I think it is valuable to look at the validity of other people's reasoning and see that there is great reason to assume that complex structures came into their complexity, their design, by a more complex designer or creator. And that's not the reason that I believe in a creator or a God, but I do believe that reasoning does support, or can be used to support, a belief in God. When I look at everything around me, I see extreme complexity. And just as I wouldn't assume that a statue of David or a city organized itself, or was organized rather, not organized itself, but was organized through random events, I would assume that city or that statue of David was designed or created by an intelligent artist or designer or creator.